Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. I'm in the car for this one. You know, every now and again I do a video, and when I read the comments that come back afterwards, my basic reaction is it's basically, what the hell? And I think a lot of people are missing the point. So I wanted to go over a few things in this video. It's great because when you make comments thinking that you're putting me in my place and chastising me, what you're actually doing is giving me the opportunity to make another video. So here goes nothing. Now, I spoke about the election results in Runcorn and Helsby, specifically to do with Graham Moore of the English Constitution Party, pointing out which could potentially be a problem, anomaly. God, I have trouble saying that word. And people have taken it upon themselves to have a go at me, tell me I'm a sore loser, get over it, no, all the other tropes that you often get when you talk about this sort of thing. Now, to be very clear, I am actually pleased with the way May the 1st went in totality, because it achieved the purpose of giving the establishment a good kick in the teeth, and that's very much, politically of course, that's very much needed. We need to send a message that we've all had enough, and the party with the impetus and the momentum to do that, whether we like it or not, is reform. You know, while I was recording the video, Farage was on the telly yet again, taking the bait from another mainstream media presenter and giving the Tommy Robinson supporters, the alt-right and everyone else a bashing, and probably didn't do himself any favours in the long run, but that's by the by. Anyway, back to the point. One very important thing I want to clear up, first of all. Somebody accused me of being a paid Labour shill, a paid Labour supporter, and I'm sore because my Labour person didn't get in Runcorn and Helsby. Again, couldn't be further from the truth. I am so anti-Labour that, you know, I couldn't begin to describe it to you. I actually voted Labour once in my whole time of life, where I've been eligible to vote for a good 30 years, and I'm still wondering what the hell I was doing voting for them just once. So I am certainly not a Labour supporter. I am certainly not a sore loser either. Far from it. I believe in the cause of electoral change. I believe that reform needs to happen. And, you know, I am genuinely pleased, as I said, that May the 1st turned out as it did. What I have an issue with is the fairness, really, in the system. And I suppose that's a result of first past the post, isn't it? Because you have a collection of candidates that, you know, are up for election in any given area, in any given time. And it's generally those with the biggest amounts of donations, the biggest purse strings, the most flamboyant individuals leading them that seem to do well. And it always seems to go in a predetermined path. I'm always of the opinion that first past the post can be beaten if enough come out all of the time and vote for their alternative, vote for the person that they want. And as we see in turnouts again and again and again, there's a lot of people that display utmost apathy, and we'll come to that very shortly. The point I was trying to make with Graham Moore, let's be very clear, I do not want the result of that election to be changed. Graham Moore was never going to win that election. I hope people realise that. I hope that's the thought process behind this. It would have been an absolute miracle if he did. But what stands out is the fact that there was the 50 votes in the two different places. Someone was kind enough to furnish me with the results of other areas he stood in as well, and one of the places, you know, the results were into 4 figures, the votes he got. So he is capable of getting a lot more, but they were both Labour-run local authorities, miles apart from each other, 10 years apart. It's just, statistically, it's not right. And it needed to be pointed out, particularly how counts are run. And, you know, that idea is going to be pursued, and I wanted to bring it to your attention to see what you thought. While the ideals of the English Constitution Party align very much with my own, I'm big enough and ugly enough to know that, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. In fact, we are where we are, and reform is the kid on the block with all the cards to play right now. But if something is going on, then perhaps it does need to be gotten to the bottom of. Now, about the vote and about the discontented, people are not coming out. You know, again and again, you see turnouts where you get 30 to 40% of people in an electorate just are not appearing for whatever reason. Is it because they can't appear? They won't appear? Or is there something else going on preventing them from doing so, like the feeling, well, what the fuck's the point, because it's not going to achieve anything anytime soon? Many people in the comments on my previous video, and I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go back and watch it, actually mentioned the idea of none of the above. Well, I've said it before. If you look up Ashby versus White 1703, it's a court case which very much laid out in law and, you know, set out the fact we have an inalienable right to vote. We have an inalienable right to consent to this whole process. And people that stay at home and don't bother because they're discontented, all they're doing is aiding and abetting that process. They're aiding and abetting those that don't want to come out and vote. Are just going to let it carry on regardless. Again, I point out to 2010 and the coalition between Conservatives and Lib Dems. Look what happened there. And we're just going to get more of the same. You know, in my house, for example, there's 3 of us of voting age, and I'm the only one that does, because I'm the only one that, I suppose, understands it, understands what's going on and puts pen to paper. So how many other pockets like that is there all over the place? I tell mine off every time and try and get them out and put the X on the spot. But to those that are discontented and don't want to give your consent to the system, I still maintain that you have to come out and tell the system you don't give your consent by writing it clearly on the paper. I do not consent, Ashby versus White 1703. The more people start doing that, the quicker things begin to change. And as for those that say I'm a shill, I have a friend of mine that's in the Reform Party. I have a friend of mine that's in the Labour Party. And I'm also pretty good buddies with a former Tory. That being said, I have absolutely no affiliation whatsoever to any party. All I literally am is a commentator with a YouTube channel. When I went to a reform meeting one time, they actually asked me, do you want to get involved? I said no. I said I can do far more good out here than I can in there. And that's the way I'll stay. Thank you very much. So, let me know what you think. I hope it's cleared a few things up. And I'm going to go ahead and have a cup of tea. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.